there was an article in Bloomberg yesterday about how the FAANG, I mean, people were like leaving, now the FAANGs made it back. I've been watching the action in Apple, and I think Apple's very telling. You know, your last buy point was when they actually pre-announced. Typically, when you get a pre-announcement, you got to wait a couple of months because it means that things are worse. Another positive note on Apple this morning. We got a bunch of positive notes on Apple. The way I measure this this moment is that there are people cutting numbers Disney and raising ratings.
And raising what?
Raising ratings, telling you to buy it. And that's this kind of multiple expansion period that the pros always tell us. In other words, when you start to pay more money for earnings that are down, be very careful. That's the 3M situation, the FedEx situation. I come back and say, okay, listen, we're very overbought, but were that many people in the market? You know, as we went up, people left the market. So do they then come back in? You know, that has been the case when people feel emboldened by how things have been gotten better.
Apple's move is somewhat extraordinary when you think about it. It was early this year, excuse me, that they warned.
Right. To the tune of stock, $9 billion.
Yes,
right.
And we watched the stock in that particular day lose a decent amount of market cap, although even during the course of that day, I think it made up some ground.
Right.
But, Jim, did you ever expect it to be up 27% this year, far outpacing the S&P?
You know,
again, where now we've gotten the quarter that they already warned on.
Right. Well, look, I've been a big bull on Apple based on services. You know, like last night I go to the Apple store. Look, you know, I lead a solitary life. And what do you do when you have time to kill? You go to the Apple store. Because that's what you do. And I just watch. I sit outside and I watch, and people are buying. And I go in to get, I wanted the new, you know, I wanted the new, do you have the ear? Do you have the AirPods?
I do actually have the earbuds.
You have the new ones?
Well, I have the ones that have no.
The next generation.
No, he does not have the next generation.
No,
he will.
The wireless earbuds.
Don't forget,
is there another generation of them?
Stay out of my face.
I missed that.
Yeah, and so I go in.
I missed it.
I go in, I want to get two pair. I want to get a pair for my wife and a pair for me. Yeah, sorry.
Well, Jim, it was with you that Tim Cook said he thought Apple's legacy should be health care.
And how about Katie Huberty following up?
And Katie Huberty's note yesterday out of Morgan Stanley, and then her interview with us on Squawk Alley yesterday as well.
Tim Cook has made it almost the company's mission to be a steward of consumers' data. And so if there's any technology company today that's well positioned to pull this off and build the trust of healthcare institutions and consumers, it is Apple.
Well, see, this is so important. Cerner today changed their board at the behest of Starboard. You're going to see Cerner stock up very much. There are two companies that dominate medical records. There's a company, Epic, which is private, and has said, listen, we're never going to go public, we're never going to sell, we're never going to do this, never do that. And Cerner, which has never made a decision on this, but the idea would be if you could somehow make it so that on your watch are all your medical records, Apple doesn't have them, you have them, and you're incapacitated, go into a hospital. If it's an Epic hospital, then they can't talk to Cerner. If there's a Cerner hospital, they can't talk to Epic. I mean, it's crazy. Everybody knows that the medical record system in this country is broken. If Katie Huberty, her vision is true, then you would pay $10 a month to have your records all on your watch. So if you're incapacitated, of which, by the way, many people, when they get to the hospital, are incapacitated. So it is it's like an insurance program. There's a lot of plans that you get where they'll phone, if you fall, they'll phone the 911. I would love to have it if I had all my records on this, and I could trust Apple implicitly versus some others. But it hasn't happened yet, but she's saying it's going to happen. And when it happens, you're going to pay a lot more for Apple.
That's also why they're pushing the privacy thing so hard, trying to differentiate themselves from everybody else.
Well, it also happens to be in their ethos, I think. They care a lot about privacy. Now, it's easy in an era when Facebook is trying so hard to walk back what kind of actors they were. But I think Katie is dead right. I think that this is the main reason why it's going up is the huge numbers they can put up in services. There had been a glitch in the stock between, say, 160, 170 on the way back where people felt services were a little bit weaker. That's changed. There's a piece this morning we read about how maybe there is an issue with China, but that's going to be solved. This is a Wedbush piece where they take their they take their price target to 225, talking about maybe smartphones doing better in China. I mean, so this has become the leader of the FAANGs.